And we are live. How is everybody doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Great.
Fantastic.
Well, you guys can have all that excitement and just have it for me. I'm exhausted, but I am doing okay. Quick update, like I do for every show. Varian is hanging in there. He's progressing, getting better. Lots and lots of doctor's appointments and testing. We got pretty much all of March, the rest of March, and pretty much all of April booked up for testing every week. 2 or 3 times a week, so yeah.
Sounds super not fun.
I was gonna say it sucks.
It is not
Sorry to hear
fun, but it will be worth it once we get the answers we want. So when we get the answers and we find out why he keeps having these strokes, then we'll be. And then for his skin disease, when he can have the surgery, we'll be happy for that too. But yeah, he was talking to Max before the show started, and he's doing all right. He's sunsetting for the night, so
Yeah.
but he was able to hold the conversation. And he's getting better. He's been sitting at the table, drinking more. That's a plus. I'm happy to see him do that, and we'll be spending his birthday here in 5 days. So we're excited about that. So that is a quick update. If anyone wants more updates or see pictures or anything, I'm posting them on all my social medias, on the GoFundMe page, anywhere. Or you can just hit me up and say, hey, what's up? And I will let you know. And I am going to hit the intro, and then we will come back and do our introductions. So here we go.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands over there.
The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my god, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares. For real. The program is rated TV MA NSFW OMFG GAF TTV BYGAS. Why are you still here? Seriously, don't watch this. We can't warn you strongly enough. Do you need a doctor of some kind? What is the matter with you?
The difference is near. It's a revolt the masses will hear. It's evolved, let the people hear. It's uniform. The boss starts here.
And we are back. Our lovely intro was it was done by Varian. So he loves doing intros.
I hope I can live up to that intro. That was phenomenal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got more in the works, so be prepared. We are gonna start with Max today. Who are you, Max?
I am Max DeVille. I own and operate Atrocity Press. We make comic books like Mary Machine Gun, Neo Tokyo, Human Hunters, and currently kickstarting right now is Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space. Which is our take on a B movie in a comic book.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can check us out at atrocitypress.com, or if on the social medias, just look up Atrocity Press and you'll find us.
And Brenton?
Hi, I am Brenton Lengel. I am the writer-creator of the twice Ringo-nominated series Snow White Zombie Apocalypse, which, there we go. It's disappearing into my background filter. And Darude, Shadow of the People, which is... those two series, they both made a big splash on Kickstarter. Swaza is, to the cool kids, Snow White Zombie Apocalypse, is published by Scout Comics and my own company, Autonomous Collective, and we're currently looking for a publisher to partner with for Darude, Shadow of the People. But I do that. I have a YouTube presence, do debates, philosophy, talk about arts, and check me out. I'd love to talk to each and every one of you. And I currently have a Kickstarter running for Snow White Zombie Volume 1, which is the very first graphic novel that I've ever made. So I'm stoked about it.
Nice.
Sweet.
And who do we have next? We have Thane next. Who are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. My name is Thane Benson. I'm a writer and artist of various comic books. Burnt is a graphic novel I did, which is a murder mystery that takes place in hell. That's the first thing I self-published through Kickstarter. Since then, I've done a series of different stuff, mostly with a character named Quick the Clockwork Knight. Looks like that right there. My current Kickstarter is for kind of an experimental comic book. It's called The Iron Dragon. It features Quick the Clockwork Knight. It's like this little newsprint comic like this. But what you do is you unfold it as you read it. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you read it, and eventually it becomes this giant, oversized comic book experience. So it's kind of a short comic, but a giant comic. It was something I thought would be cool to do. I wasn't sure if people would be into it or not, but the reception on Kickstarter has been terrific, so I'm very excited about that. It's doing very well, and I'm hoping more people will continue to discover it. The link's right there. It's tinyurl.com/quickdragon to get to it.
Nice.
I love that you're expanding the medium there with that. I'd never thought of putting a comic on like a giant fold-up thing. That's really cool.
That is cool.
That is a neat idea.
John, who are you?
Hi, I'm John Dexter. I'm the creator and writer of Alpha Dogs. It's issue 2 is on Kickstarter right now. We're fully funded. We still have 16 days left, so we're doing pretty good. We got this is the variant cover right here. It's about there's the
cool.
issue 2, and then here's issue 1. And if you missed issue 1, you can buy that as well on there. But yeah, we're fully funded, and we're just trying to get to the first stretch goal for everybody. We're about $200 away, so it's trying to get it and get some more people interested in it.
I was in the chat when you launched, and then later on that day I launched as well.
Oh, really?
And we both ran up against that writer that was making $24 million.
Yeah, I know. That was crazy. That's probably why the Kickstarter was all messed up that day.
Oh, it was. This is exactly.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's probably why.
And Josh.
Josh Nealis, CEO of Cutthroat Comics out of Findlay, Ohio. We've been going since 2015. We've released like 20 things. I lost count already. But we've got 2 Kickstarters going right now. One for my book, Turkey Sharks, number 1 and 2. So this is technically for 2, but you can also get 1 as people do, which is smart. We were fully funded in 45 minutes. We've got a variant cover by Tyler J. Haddix, another one by Sean Forney and Rodney Fike, as well as a Kickstarter exclusive that will be gone once the Kickstarter is over. You'll never be able to get it again. And then we also have a book that I'm publishing that I didn't write. I edited it for the team from Tales of the Podcast, and it's called Tales of Shock and Terror. It's a horror anthology. It's got 3 stories, 4 covers. 3 of them are Kickstarter exclusives. And that was fully funded in like a day and a half or something like that. And they're doing good. I actually challenged them to a war this morning on which campaign can get more backers. We're both tied at 31. So it's going to be a fight to the end. I think both theirs ends on April 2nd, and mine on the 3rd, I think. So I got that extra day on them.
That's awesome.
Oh, and I didn't have anything to show, but here's a bottle of water.
Is that one of the rewards?
Back for $100, I will send you a bottle of water.
Nice.
And yeah, you guys know me. I am Lola, your indie princess. I am the EIC over at indievolt.com. I am the co-owner of Last Call Comics. I am the owner of Shocker Comics. Yeah, I help out with Liberty Distribution. Mom, wife, college student, photographer, graphic designer. You name it, I do it. That's me. And everyone got silent after that.
Yep.
We can't
All in
beat
all,
that
all
with-
the things you do.
Nobody can follow that.
Yeah, I do so much, and I don't know how I got time for it all. I publish comics, I distribute comics, I make comics. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, this is really exciting, and thank you so much for inviting me on. Thane, I'm very happy to see you for the first time because we've talked before, and I think we shared updates for your Clockwork Knight series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, and we've also talked about Scout because I've also signed with Scout for a publishing deal.
Oh, great! Yeah, I heard you. I knew you were. I didn't know if you'd signed with them or not, but yeah, that they're really good to work with. So I hope you. I look forward to working with you more in the future. Then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I actually got a topic tonight for you guys to discuss before we go into the campaigns. So I know everyone's noticed the gas prices going up and they're getting ridiculous. Do you think that will have an impact on the indie community when they travel to conventions? Do you think it's gonna?
I think it'll really affect smaller creators, but mid-tier, someone that can absorb that cost might be able to continue to stick around. But I think we'll see a lot of people doing less conventions this summer unless this gas prices stuff gets under control.
Yeah, I mean, me and my husband, we travel all over the U.S. And we drive everywhere. So we're from Michigan, so we'll drive to Florida. We drove to New Orleans. We want to go to Texas. We want to go to California. We want to go everywhere. So for us, it's like it's kind of hard, but at the same time, I think with carpooling, it might be easier because we have carpooled a couple times and split the gas cost. So maybe if people can find someone that's going to the same convention, they can carpool together.
Yeah,
I'm a fellow Michigander here. You live in Michigan right now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I live in Niles area.
Okay.
About 8 minutes north of Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah, I was born and raised in Detroit. Now I live in like the Sterling Heights area.
Oh, okay.
Not too far from Selfridge.
I haven't been too worried about gas price. I mean, it went up, and I ran out and filled up like a huge thing of gas just before it rose. That hasn't impacted me directly, but I haven't really hit the convention scene due to COVID. I used to be at Dragon Con every year with the Crew Shadows, which is a phenomenal band if you want to check them out.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with Rogue, actually.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, me and Rogue are collaborating on a novel.
Awesome. That's fucking awesome.
He's a great guy.
We used to book them all the time when they were nobodies back in the 90s. And then they started doing all the conventions and then the goth crews and everything. And I joined the army and actually went to a show of theirs when they were in Germany. And he's standing at the door greeting people as they come in. And he's doing this British accent thing. And I walk up, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You don't sound like that. And he's like, holy shit, what are you doing here?
Nice.
You need to send them this way so we can get them on either the radio channel or do an interview or something with them.
Yeah, I can send him an invite, or maybe if you want to do it, Max.
Yeah.
We support indie creators of all types, comic books, music, movies, games, all of it.
Sweet.
They don't do much music anymore that I know of. I mean, he's doing the Family Man thing and they do like one show a year. I mean,
yeah, well, so he released his most recent album, which is Astro Mythology, which is freaking phenomenal. Like, I think it's honestly one of the best albums of the past 20 years at Dragon Con. And what really kind of the band, from what I understand, the band has had difficulty booking venues and such due to COVID. Rogue's wanting to be very careful with it, and it kind of, it takes its toll on people that perform live. But yeah, sorry about the tangent, by the way, but to put it back on the topic of the gas prices, the war has actually impacted me in the sense that, like, the colorist that I work with for Darudi's Shadow of the People is Russian. So like, when they shut down PayPal, I'm like, how in the world am I going to pay you? And now I'm having to figure out how to use Bitcoin just to send it over, which I'm not happy about.
I was actually thinking about that today. There's a guy that I've worked with. He did like colors for a cover for me. I didn't have to pay him. He did, like, the artist paid him to do that part. But I forget where he's from, but it's there somewhere. And I was wondering about him because I haven't heard from him for a minute. Thought about checking on him. I don't want to say his name because, like I said, I don't know where he exactly lives and stuff. But
Yeah. What about you guys, John and Thane? You've been quiet.
Oh yeah,
Any
I don't.
opinions?
I only have the two comics. The second one's being funded right now on Kickstarter, so I haven't been really traveling to too many cons, just to go in comic book stores in the area and do signings. So it hasn't really affected me that much. And I drive a company truck, so I don't have to pay for gas. Thank God.
Nice.
Yeah, so I ride my bicycle everywhere, so gas prices don't affect me day to day. But I do think about, like, traveling, and I think about, like, shipping costs too, like seeing shipping costs going
Oh
up.
man, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that definitely impacts creators, especially like DIY people who are, distributing and printing all their own stuff. So that's a big bummer for sure. But as far as, like, going to conventions, I'm going to do my best to go wherever and just kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
like, for me,
that's what you can do.
I don't think it's really the gas prices. I think it's, and some of you guys maybe have noticed, but the price to get a table at a con over the last couple of years has shot up quite a bit. Yeah, some of the ones I used to love to do, I contact them and they're like, "Oh, it's this now," and I'm like, I mean, that's what I was going to make that weekend.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore.
A lot of these conventions, they're pricing people out of tables, and I don't know how well that's going to work out for them.
Well, I think there will be new people coming in and they'll take the tables, but then eventually they're going to learn too. Like, I'm not making my table back, So, like, fortunately, I did a con this past weekend, Fantasticon in Toledo, Ohio,
Okay.
and I mean, it was busy. And as far as I know, I've talked to a bunch of the other vendors and stuff. Craig Blake and Dirk Manning, Caleb Toussaint was there, like Frank James Bailey. It sounded like everybody did really well. I know I crushed. So, I mean, so that was great, but, what if you spend a couple $100 on a table and ain't nobody show up, I mean, that's always been the case, but still.
It's always the risk you run.
Right.
It's always a gamble. I mean, all you can do is do your best. That's what we do.
I don't know. Maybe it's come from being like a penniless artist in New York City, but I've sort of come to the conclusion over the last few years that money isn't real, and I'm just living my life as though. And hopefully, it will continue to work out.
Yeah. Do you guys, besides the projects you have now, anything in the works?
I definitely do. Does anybody want to go before me?
No, go ahead.
Have at it, bud.
Great. So yeah, I have quite a few irons in the fire. The biggest one that's most immediate is I'm going to be launching a secret project with Kit Buss of Critical Role Season 1. They just released it was funded on Kickstarter. Actually, it was, I think, the biggest arts Kickstarter of all time. The Legend of Vox Machina, and she did all of the original character designs like way back. She's done several covers for Snow White Zombie with me, including this one, which is great. If my computer wasn't messing with me,
That's a special invisible variant you have there.
Yeah. Definitely. I hope many people buy the invisible variant from me.
The mirrored variant.
But yeah, I'm working on a secret project. I'm going to be launching a new series with her that I'm really excited about because it's something that's been in the works for a while. On top of that, I've got a Spanish version of Durruti, Shadow of the People. It's the historical comic about the life and death of anarchist Buenaventura Durruti, who defeated the military in Barcelona and took a army of 10,000 anarchists to fight Franco in Spain. So with that series, we're going to be releasing a fully Spanish language version. We're going to run a separate fully Spanish language Kickstarter for it, which I'm really excited about. I'm finishing up a screenplay, which is called Los Errantes, which is a film about an early incident in Buenaventura Durruti's life in Mexico. And that I'm really excited about that. And yeah, between that and the other stuff, I have way too much to do and not enough time to do it.
Sounds like it.
Yeah,
But it always is. No sleep in comics.
Yo, Max, you got so much stuff lined up.
Oh yeah.
I think you got like 9 projects lined up.
Let's see. Well, right now we've got Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space #1 on Kickstarter, and then in May we'll have Mary Machine Gun issue 3 on Kickstarter, and then in July we have a project that we're working on that we can't release. We can't release any information about it yet, but it'll be kickstarting in July. And then in August we'll have number 4 of Mary Machine Gun, and then in October we'll have the Kickstarter for Human Hunters #2, and then in November we'll do the Kickstarter for Love and Death #1. We've got stuff going all year.
Yeah, then you got the
Beautiful.
Indiegogos for each coming in there too.
Yep, all the Indiegogos on there. I didn't mention them because
Yeah.
just extra stuff. But yeah, and all the Indiegogos for each of those projects as well.
yeah. I'll have to pick your brain on that because I'm once Swaza Volume 1 closes on Kickstarter. I was thinking of taking it over to Indiegogo to see if I can expand the audience. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you about what the differences are and how best to handle that.
Sure.
Anyone else busy this year?
Yeah, I mean, so I just released my newest novel on Valentine's Day. So I'm coming out of that process. That was Cocaine Stripper Stronghold.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, that one sold pretty damn well. This past weekend was the second time. I had it at a small con a few weeks back, and this was the bigger con that I had it at. It sold really well. Like I had this one couple came and bought a few comic books, and like an hour later they came running back up to my table. They're like, "We can't leave this sitting here." And I was like,
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
yeah, it came out really good. It's like From Dusk Till Dawn meets The Road Warrior.
That's
Nice.
What I kind of describe it as. But yeah, after Turkey Sharks 1 and 2 Kickstarters wrapped up, I'm gonna write number 3, and then I'm gonna also dive into my next novel, which is a sequel to my 2 books ago, Hellscape. It'll be called Hellscape Concert of Flies, I think is what I'm calling it. But and then there'll be more comics and stuff after that. So
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. How are you publishing the novel? Is it Kickstarter as well? Do you have a
No. I print them at Lulu and I just release them. Like I've got
sweet.
Yeah, I've got 9 novels out, I think, and those seem to sell pretty good. Like most of my family and friends and stuff, they like the novels more than they like the comics. And then of course I have the comic fan base as well, so I can move the novels pretty quick to recoup some money on that.
What do you like more doing? Do you like doing comics or novels more?
You know, it's kind of a toss-up. Like the comics are a little more fun because you get to see the artist deliver your mind to your face. The novels they're a lot more work, but they're pretty satisfying, especially when they come out. Like Hellscape is very deep and character driven and very detailed and all that. And then something like Cocaine Stripper Stronghold, it's like Fast and the Furious stupid. Like it's just a fun, a fun ride as opposed to something that makes you think.
Exactly. Just, that's like with the Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space. We were sitting around and we were like, we're getting messed up, and we're like, trying to come up with the cheesiest B movie title we could come up with, and that's the one I came up with. And then I was like, I'm gonna make this into a comic book.
Yep. That's what you do, man. When you own the company, you do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
Ed Wood would be proud.
John, Thane, anything to say?
Oh, I just said Ed Wood would be proud. Ed Wood from cheesiest film director. But yeah, I'm just I don't know. You guys are wearing me out. I have too much time on my day job, and then I'm going to be starting Alpha Dogs issue 3 in a couple months after the Kickstarter ends here. So now that we're fully funded and doing pretty good, so I'm hoping I can do 2 this year because after issue 1, it took a while to get going with COVID and everything. So and now the paper supplies I'm hearing might be an issue 2, so that sucks.
Oh,
It's
great.
not as bad as it used to be. It was pretty bad there for a while, but it's gotten better.
Good.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I missed the paper thing. Like I printed when there was plenty of paper, and then I took forever to send it out because I was having trouble with just the Kickstarter's response was so much bigger than I was expecting. And so like by the time I was ready and sending it out and ready to launch the next one, it was starting to get better, and I was like, oh, okay, just missed that entirely.
Yeah, so the intention with like the newsprint fold-out comic was to do several in a row. The hope is to do them like back to back, like every 2 months, have one come out. But I was going to wait to see how this Kickstarter did before I committed to that. But it's doing well enough now that I think I'm going to commit to it through the year to see how it goes. So I've already finished the second one. I'm working on a third one right now. But here's a page. Here's a little preview page of the second one here. That
I really love the colors.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a sneak peek of the spread of the second one is going to be this, if I can pick it up here, this like insane cross section of this interior of a fish.
Nice.
And you probably can't see on the screen, but there's all these like little tiny numbers, and you follow the character through the whole fish. There's a whole narrative that runs through it. It's really unbelievably involved. And this one I'm definitely gonna have to test print to see if it'll show up in the newsprint. It's super detailed.
Are you the artist and writer?
Yeah, I'm the artist and writer. Yeah.
You lucky bastard.
So I have those planning on coming out. Like Brenton and I were talking about, I just signed with Scout, so I do have a choose your own graphic novel coming out with Scout. It's going to be later this year, probably like November is when it's going to come out, when all is said and done. And I've been writing some comics for a comic company, kind of an upstart indie comic book company called Maze Comics. It's been really fun. We've been doing this comic called The Mistakes, which is sort of, I've been describing it as Family Guy meets the X-Men if the X-Men were real shit at being superheroes. It's like a comedy book. One book is out in print. I think there's 2 books on what do you call it? Webtoons. If you go to Webtoons and search The Mistakes, it'll show up. There's 2 books. There's a whole bunch of short stories on Webtoons, and I believe in April is when the Kickstarter for the print edition of number 2 will be.
Nice.
And a bunch of other stuff that's probably too early to to be revealing, but more and more irons in the fire as well.
So we are going to get into these campaigns. Let's see. The first one is going to be... I got so many things up here. There we go.
Alpha Dog.
Oh, cool.
Do you want me to play the video first? Or
Yeah, if you want to play the trailer, it's pretty sweet.
All right, here we go, guys.
Okay, I'm instantly on Buck's side there. Like from panel 1, I was just like, "Oh, my heart." my family raises dogs. We actually, my mom had the top Newfoundland female in the world in 2012, I think. So yeah, I have such affection for them, and he's adorable and wonderful, and I'm already taken with your series.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got funded. Issue 1 got funded. It was my first Kickstarter, first venture into any of it. And so I was able to raise enough and to, get issue 2 going. So like I said, it's been going pretty good. I still got 15 days left. I'm going to a big comic book store. They're having a toy show there in Grand Rapids on Saturday. And then my comic's going to be reviewed on YouTube on Sunday by... and I can't recall his name. Comic Breakdown, I believe, is. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get some views on that. So I'm pretty much doing everything. Well, I mean, promoting everything by myself. I hired Stone Tower Studio out of Argentina to produce the comic. They do all the art, coloring, inking, and lettering. So, but yeah, it's been a labor of love. And the dog is inspired by my own dog, a pit bull mix. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks great, man. It's a good idea too. You don't see. I think this is something different, and I think people will gravitate towards it because it is something. You don't see dog comic books too often. It looks really good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's you're not gonna find another comic similar to that. I don't believe around right now. So,
what was the inspiration behind creating this?
Well, a friend of mine who I had wrote a comic book before called Steelhawk. It didn't do so hot a long time ago, and I've been working trying to make it a screenwriter. And he had watched the Westminster Dog Show, and he said, this was about 5 years ago, and he said, I got a great idea for a comic book. You should write a comic about dogs with superpowers. And I thought, man, that is the dumbest idea. Because people always say, you should write this, write that. And but then just the idea percolated, and I have, like I said, a pit bull mix, and they were gonna outlaw pit bulls in our neighborhood. So we ended up having to move because we were gonna get rid of our dog, of course. So I kind of I modeled the main character, Buck, the white pit bull, after my own dog, where he's a really kind-hearted dog, but people are scared of him because of his breed. In Buck's situation, he's a very big pit bull. So I kind of went with the Casper the Friendly Ghost characterization, where everybody's scared of Casper because he's a ghost, but he's actually got a good heart and helps people.
He's actually a friendly ghost.
Yes, exactly.
I have that on good authority. So is Buck? Does he Hulk out, or was the other pit bull a different
that's
dog?
the antagonist dog.
Okay.
Yeah, so Buck has the ability to heal from most any wound. He's intelligent enough to understand humans speaking, and he has got a heightened strength slightly. So him and his owner and another old pit bull with the same abilities as Buck have been on the run for all of Buck's life. And his owner, who's lived obviously a very lonely life, ends up falling in love with a fellow bioengineer named Salem. And she ends up divulging the dog's abilities to him. And little does she know, he already knows what their abilities are. And he's been building a plan
Yeah,
to
he's been
use
experimenting on the dog.
well, he's got it's a kind of a next generation of drug that once he's in possession of the dog's blood, he can create his own super powered dogs, basically. And he's able to do that in the end of issue 1. And in issue 2, as you've seen in the picture, that's how it opens up with his own dog being able to Hulk out, if you will.
Gives him the roid rage.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, it's been on Kickstarter. You can see I've got reviews from issue 1, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. People seem to enjoy it. I just am in the middle of building my audience, and there's my own dog right there in the picture.
It's so cute.
Beautiful.
He is a cutie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you.
Yeah,
it's interesting that you got how many of these? So, how many of these studios do like everything for you? Is that normal, or like because I've had to spend quite a lot of time wrangling various artists and editors and letterers and stuff. So if somebody's like offering to do the whole package, I might be interested.
There are, like I said, a studio out of Argentina that you're talking to the wrong person, because like I said, I did a cattle call on Facebook, writers seeking artists, and I looked through everybody that had submitted, and they just blew me away. And so I hired them, and then I found out, they'll do everything. So it all worked out. The colorist is awesome too. So it's been a very good relationship. I have to speak to somebody else to talk to the artist because he doesn't speak English, but it's worked out just fine. So.
Yeah, so I'm real curious. Is there like do you give like editorial feedback? Like, could you request changes when you?
What they'll do is they'll sketch it, they'll give it to me. I go through it and say this, that, or the other thing, and give it back to them. And usually, hopefully, there's only been a few times where it's been inked, and I actually had to say, "Oh wait, this has got to be changed." So yeah, but for the most part, it's been a very good relationship. So hopefully, keep working with them for a while if people will still buy into the comic book.
And they did issue 1 as well, the same studio.
Correct. Yeah, they did issue 1. The colorist is different, but this colorist is just as good. So
yeah, I mean, everything looks amazing. I remember when you did the first campaign for the first issue, and I seen it when it was too late. I'm like, man.
Well, you can buy issue 1 actually with this.
I'm going to, yes.
Oh. yeah. So, it was tough because, like I said, being my first one, I don't have. I do work in a totally different field. Actually, I'm an inspector at a construction company, so it's not like I got any friends to say, "Oh yeah, let me buy this comic book," except for one. And so, yeah, it's basically been me doing all the legwork. It's just fine. I knew what I was getting into, so
yeah,
it's been a passion of mine. Well, like I said, for 5 years, I've been working on this to get it made. So.
Nice. I love how you were like, "Oh, that's the dumbest idea," but then you put this much passion into it.
Yeah, I know.
5 years. That's a very pure arts thing to do, and I really appreciate it. I love it whenever somebody does that.
Yeah, it was funny. It just started percolating and thinking about it. And plus, he had a lot of money, so I thought he was going to fund the venture. That didn't happen. It's like a lot of people. I got a great idea. This would be great. And then 3 days later, they just. So. But yeah, it's I've heard a lot of good. It's weird being the first one to have a few cheerleaders out there that you never met before. And that's kind of cool to have a few fans. Hopefully, can build on. So. Fun little journey.
Well, I'm definitely going to become a fan. I'm buying into it.
Yeah, the trailer is then being the trailer. I mean, I wrote the trailers, but I mean, they took it to the next level, and it was them too. It was the same studio.
It's done really well.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. it's great when you have an idea, and I'm sure everybody can relate. Then you give it to somebody, and they do it so much better than you can possibly imagine.
That's one of the things that I like about the artists that I work with is that I'll write something and then I'll have it in my head, and more times than not, what they draw is actually cooler.
Yeah.
In my head, so I'm like, hey, you guys are doing all right. Good job.
That's how it was with Lore. That was my first book that I wrote and put out. Like, I gave my artist, who is Dave Brown, he goes by Dave the Supreme. I'm like, well, here's what I want in the panel, but feel free to do whatever you want, pretty much. And he did an amazing job. Everyone that has contacted me about the book so far has loved it.
Yeah, I actually contacted Trisha Forstner from she's the artist co-creator of Stray Dogs, and she liked it a lot, and I asked if she'd be interested in doing sketch covers for the comic. So that's one of the tiers, is she's doing sketch covers of the dogs for the Kickstarter. So that was a pretty cool get. I was shocked she actually agreed to it. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. She's super nice too. So
everyone needs to go check that out. You have 15 days left. Link is in the chat and is also in the description. Go check it out now, guys.
Yeah, and then my name is my Twitter handle at Real Alpha Dogs. If you want to go to my Twitter and check out the pages and whatnot.
I'm gonna change mine to Fake Alpha Dogs.
There you go.
So how many of you are writers? I got a question for you guys. Just the writer, like you don't draw.
Yeah, just me.
Okay.
And I guess Max as well.
So I'm working on this little short story for an anthology, and I wrote my script up and everything, and my husband was like, yeah, I'll draw it, and then he had a stroke, so that was a little setback. But so I decided to do the roughs of the artwork. And
Gotta be better than mine.
No, they weren't bad, but it's like what he's doing compared to what I drew is like, wow, that doesn't even look like what I drew anymore. Has any of you done that before? Like drawn the roughs out?
Yeah, I do storyboards all the time. And I mean, they're mostly just like stick figures. You know, I put the boxes in with little stick figures. Like they'll be like this or running.
Oh, see,
or
mine weren't there. Mine were actually like detailed. And then I'm like, you just go in and make it better.
Yeah,
I've never done that, but I have done to like when it's like a combat scene that's kind of complex. I'll make like basically a grid map, like a D&D battle map, and I'll show where everybody is, and then I'll be like, okay, and then in the next frame, these people have gone over here, and this person's here now, and these people are fighting. And then in the next frame, this person's dead, this person's fallen off the bridge, and this person's over here. This grenade went off.
You draw arrows like they're going this way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been lucky to have some really, really great artists to work with. Hyondo Park, who did the first double issue of Swaza. That's essentially like if you buy the Swaza #1, the original one from Scout Comics, you get his beat in the story. And he just like I came up with some really cool stuff, but there's a couple of points in the comic where he just took what I was thinking about and ignored it and went in so much of a better direction than I was. Like Rapunzel gives this really great monologue about her past with Prince Charming to Snow White, and like I was like, okay, so she's remembering it, and I want you to because Rapunzel, the character, has her hair all chopped off. So it's like, what I want to do is I want to see her and then her hair like almost like a ghostly, and then pop the stuff into it. So Hyondo didn't do that at all. Instead, he did a thing where he had the character of Rapunzel, and she's Spanish Moroccan in this story, and he had her like pictures on the back, but he used like I forget what it is, like there's some like type of Moroccan art that's basically like a collage of geometric shapes and patterns. And he used that. So it looked like at first glance, it looked like the beginning of Beauty and the Beast, where they had the stuff in the stained glass. But then it's also specific to Rapunzel. And then like He put so much detail into it, like just like when things started to go bad, like the stuff crumbled, and it was like so beautiful. And I just remember like looking at it and being like, okay, this is perfect. Thank you very much, Yando.
So Josh has to get out of here soon, so we are gonna go and look at his campaign real quick.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got to be up super early for work.
Oh, no problem. And here we are.
Yep. So yeah, this is Turkey Sharks 1 and 2. You don't need to play the video. All I did, I made a TikTok and then deleted the TikTok, and the TikTok is my video. Using some ninjanuity there.
Okay.
Good way to go.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like as you can see, it's silly. So that's the A cover. Got Blasphemer and Pedo Man doing the Teen Wolf on the carriage with Harvey the Unicorn there. And some of my characters, like these guys, are really silly, and then some of them are kind of deep and dark. This is the Kickstarter exclusive cover. Like I said, only available here. It won't be available afterwards. And that's Bubba Bath in the middle there, Photo Bomber on the left, and then Christian Wright on the right.
I already love this.
Yeah. And then this is the Forney Fike cover of the homage to Wildcats #1 with all of our characters on there. And when I approached Sean about doing a cover, he was like, "What do you want me to do?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then like 15 minutes later, he was like, "How about a Wildcats thing?" And I was like, "I'm sold. I'm in." And so he did it with Ginger Avenger, Zebo, Basic Bitch, Stingray in the middle there, Pedo Man and Kid Friendly, Blasphemer, and then Mark the Alien over there. And this came out really good. Like, I'm excited to have this. Like, I'm definitely getting this graded so I can have it on my wall.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah. And then this is the Tyler J. Haddix, Zebo, the drunk homeless robot cover. Yeah, I guess he did this as an oil painting, and we actually had the original art was one of the tiers, and somebody bought it within like 15 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, and so yeah, she's getting the original art, which I was kind of mad because I was like, man, if that doesn't sell, like I might buy it for like a way lower price. But it would be cool to have my character, his art in somebody's house. But
yeah,
the interior art, this is page 1, and this is like a flashback. So Ray there, that's Stingray. He lost his family tragically, and I won't get into that as a spoiler. But
what other way the comic book is there? You know,
right.
you can't lose your family peacefully. And
Right. Can't be like, oh, they fell asleep. But yeah, Cristiano Reina lives in Italy, and he does all my interior art. He's done a lot of the he did the first 2 covers there too, and then these are the you can get Turkey Sharks #1 as well with this, and you got the A cover. Of course, you can't get the Kickstarter exclusive for that anymore. Brian Silverbacks did a cover, and Chris Madd did a cover, and you can get those as add-ons. We still have some of those.
I love Brian Silverbacks. He's done an original variant cover for every single issue of Swaza.
Nice. Yeah, that dude, I like that guy so much. Like, he did a really good job on this, and that sold a lot of copies, honestly, during the Kickstarter. I'm hoping to get him on something in the future as well. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
So what is it about?
Turkey Sharks. I mean, it's like my take on superhero stuff. Like, it's very tongue in cheek. A lot of it, like I think you get a nice palette of heroes because you get Stingray, who's like brooding. Obviously, he's crying there, killing people or killing aliens. And Ginger Avenger. Although it sounds like silly, he's tormented himself. So you get some tormented characters, and then you get the silly ones to lighten the mood. You get some depth of character and all that, but it's a lot like Family Guy in a lot of sense. Like the silly characters, they reference movies and TV shows and catchphrases all the time, and they do dumb stuff like wrestling moves. Like I think in issue 1, Pedo Man was putting a guy in the sharpshooter, talking about the Toronto screw job or whatever. Well, I forget what the big thing with Bret Hart where people were mad.
Got Pops in the chat, and Grant says he just bagged Iron Dragon. It looks awesome.
Thanks, Grant.
But yeah, and actually, Comic Watch over the weekend did a review of Turkey Sharks 1. He gave it a 7.6 out of 10. You know, and I was telling people 8. I'm rounding it up.
It was an 8.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take that every day. You know, if somebody likes it that much. So
Closer to 8.5, really.
yeah, right. You can't go down; it's only up. But yeah, you know, the Kickstarter's going really well. You know, I'm not trying to get, you know, obviously I would love to get thousands and thousands of dollars. Really, I just want to cover costs on getting this damn thing made. Is really, you know, because I've been paying out of pocket. This is my 11th book, and the first 9 I paid straight out of pocket. You know, so
And your tiers, I mean, it's reasonably priced.
yeah. My goal is to get this in people's hands. You know, I don't. Would I love to do this as my real job, like, and quit my day job? Absolutely, I want to do that. But for me, I'm taking the approach of back end on my career. I want to get my stuff in the hands of people as much as possible, and hopefully that pays off. You know, when I have a loyal fan base that no matter what I put out, they're gonna pick it up and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, right here for $10, you can get 1 and 2.
Right, just the A covers though.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the A cover of this one, it's one of my favorites. I mean, ever. I mean, how would you not?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I think it's pretty incredible. You know, what you're talking about also, it reminds me, I spent like 10 years beating my head against the wall in New York working as a playwright. And like, I think I either broke even or lost money on every single show, like even the ones that did really well. And, you know, that's just so often the struggle of an artist.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, are you?" I was at a in my hometown at like their little festival, and a person I'd known for a long time walks up to me and she's like, "So you're like kind of famous now?" And I was like, "No, I mean, maybe here, you know, but it's not about that. It's got to be about the art first. It's got to be about the stories and the fun of it."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to, you know, even when I get good reviews, like I said, I just got, like, I'm trying to remain humble, and I want to create, you know, and if I can make a living at it, that would be amazing.
Well, it looks awesome. I'm
Thank you.
definitely going to check it out. I'm excited for it. Everyone else needs to go check it out.
I agree fully.
And I want to thank you for coming on.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Yeah, when you reached out, I was like, oh, I know who this is. I think I was on a couple years ago or something. I forget what. I was on here like one time before, and then, you know, it's tough, you know, when you have a day job, and you know, I'm very busy with this publishing company. I pump out a lot of work, and I have a little kid running around here. So
yeah.
How old?
He just turned 7, and actually, in Turkey Sharks.
7-year-old.
Yeah, Turkey Sharks 1 is the second appearance. I let him create a character named Tornado Kid.
Nice.
He's got his own byline and everything in Turkey Sharks 1. So
Yeah, I know how that is. Ours just is 11 right now, and me and him are creating a book together. So
it's awesome.
Fun.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
I was hoping you were going to be like, yeah, and I let him write some allure.
No.
I'll be like, please no.
No. I mean, my kid knows about sex and everything thanks to school. He had to have a mandatory sex ed class, so he knows about it. And he thinks it's disgusting, and I'm going to keep it that way.
It is disgusting.
You know, it's funny. So, like, as Swaza goes on, it's based on the original play that I had in the New York Fringe Festival. There is a line actually from the evil version of Prince Charming, and it's literally like, "Love is disgusting." You can dress it off, you can dress it up, you can tell stories about it, but at the end, it's all rage, jealousy, and body fluids.
My book lore is I don't even know how to describe it. Max, you've looked at it already.
Yeah, it's like Eyes Wide Shut and Saw. It's with a little bit of 50 Shades of Grey in there. it's pretty. It's interesting read. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's a fun book.
Yeah,
Well,
but
the thing that I didn't think were gonna happen. So I mean, it was nice to be surprised. Usually, I can see things from a mile away.
yeah, a couple people already said that they were mad at the ending. So, but
Yeah,
there's more to come. I'm working on more issues of it. So,
Well, and at least they were invested enough to be mad at the ending.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
That's you're exciting some passions there in more ways than one.
yeah. I mean, I'm excited. It was my first book. I wrote it and put it out myself, and I've been a publisher for 12 years now, and I'm like, it's my time. Let me put out something. So I put out a book, 80 pages for my first book.
That's a lot of work.
But it was fun. It was therapeutic for me. So
Was that 80 pages, 80 comic pages, or 80 pages like a novella?
So it was 69 comic pages and 12 fan art and character bios and everything else.
Wow, that is phenomenal, especially as your first project.
Yeah. I had fun and I'm working on more.
Keep at it.
I think I got like nine or 10 more projects in the works right now. So, but enough of me. We are going to move on to some more awesome campaigns going on.
Yeah. Before we jump into anybody else, let me hop out of here, guys. I'm sorry I have to leave. It's disrespectful. and
You're
I'm
fine. You let me know.
myself all night.
Things happen. You can't stream forever. You got to go to bed.
Right. Pleasure meeting some of you guys.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Yep. Have a good rest of your night. Good luck with your campaigns.
If you can you drop your contact info into the private chat here?
Yeah.
Before you go, I'd love to connect.
Yeah, where can everybody find you at?
Cutthroatcomics.com is a good place.
Okay.
Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever. OnlyFans, I'm everywhere.
I hope not Grindr.
I dabbled. I thought it would. Honestly, it was just so many dick pics.
Hey, I made a book about that.
If I could make an OnlyFans and I just had to take pictures of my butthole, I'd do that. I'd do it.
Yeah, you got to think. You don't just have to take pictures of your butthole. You also have to engage with your fans who want to take pictures of your butthole.
But I don't want to engage with them. I just want to take the pictures of my butthole and post them to the internet. I could spice them up. I could draw little eyeballs, so get googly eyes, stick it to the cheeks.
Hey, Josh, you're welcome back anytime. Just hit me up. Same for all of you. Anytime you want to come on, just say, hey, let me on.
All right, guys. Good luck. Have a good night. It was a pleasure.
Thank
you.
Again.
All right, the next one.
Then there was 5.
I was just gonna say that. I just watched an episode of Seinfeld, the contest.
It's interesting. I should have gone to masturbation, but my brain immediately to Agatha Christie.
There we go.
Awesome.
Snow White Zombie Apocalypse Volume 1. Nice.
Video or talking?
Let's do the video.
All right.
Baby, it'll be alright. Though the world's come crashing down on every side. You can fly, 'cause we still have wings. You can fly, you just got to believe.
Hey folks, Brenton Lengel here. I am the writer-creator of Darude, Shadow of the People, and the twice Ringo-nominated dark fantasy series Snow White, Zombie Apocalypse, published by Scout Comics and my own company, Autonomous Collective. For those of you who are just now hearing about the series, Swaza, to the cool kids, is about the quintessential fairy tale princess, Snow White, who awakens to Prince Charming's kiss 28 days after the zombie apocalypse. The 7 dwarves are dead, her prince is polyamorous, and our heroine is dwarfed in power and experience by Rapunzel, Prince Charming's badass paramour, who is best described as a kung fu warrior queen goddess. This star-crossed trio must overcome their fear, rage, and mounting jealousy in a desperate bid for survival as they fight a losing battle against death itself when the denizens of Grimm's fairy tales rise from their grave to devour the flesh of the living. Guys, I am beside myself with this huge milestone. Autonomous Collective and I are creating and releasing Swaza's very first trade, Snow White Zombie Apocalypse Volume 1, which will be available in paperback and limited edition hardcover. This trade, with interiors by Ringo Award-nominated inker Hyondo Park and Luana Vecchio of Image Comics, gathers together everything Swaza has put out to date. All 4 Snow White zombie comic books, plus all 3 issues of the Reign of the Blood-Covered King Ashcan prequels, into a single definitive 150-plus page graphic novel that features a ton of supplemental material, including a copy of the play that started it all. The trade will also feature photos of Swaza's 2 New York City productions, a foreword by comics legend Ron Martz, a gallery of pinup art, and best of all, 2 new, never-before-seen Swaza stories by Scout Comics' own Ralph Singh and Kit Buss of Critical Role Season 1, whose original character designs just appeared in their fully animated glory in the recently premiered Amazon series, The Legend of Vox Machina. I am so excited that both of these incredible artists will be trying their hand at a world I dreamed up, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. The book also features a gorgeous Castlevania-inspired cover by Adam Bryce Thomas of IDW's Sonic the Hedgehog and Samurai Jack, as well as a pair of homage variant covers that are inspired by 2 comics that deeply affected me as a young man and left an indelible mark on my life and aesthetic sensibilities. These being Warp Graphics' Elf Quest by Wendy and Richard Pinney and Bill Watterson's Calvin and Hobbes. And if you look deeply enough, both comics' DNA is woven into every page of Swaza. Without these 2 series, there is a very good chance that I would not be making comics today. And so their inclusion as part of this Kickstarter is just the perfect way to celebrate just how far we've come in the past 2 years. And when I say we, I mean us, you and me. Because no matter how brilliant and talented all these incredible artists and writers are, none of this is possible without your help. As such, this book is a celebration of everything we have made together, because you guys are the ones who make it possible for me to fully realize this grand creative vision with so many talented people. You're the reason I can do this. The one thing I was put on this earth to do. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. So please, look down the page. We have a ton of bonus material you can order, including limited edition Swaza back issues. If you missed the wildly successful Darude Kickstarter, you can order the book here and add on a custom challenge coin, patch, and lapel pin. We have 2 new posters, a brand new print by Darude artist Jaime Infante, 2 enamel pins, a double-sided bookmark, and my personal favorite, 2 actual coins from Prince Charming's kingdom. Are they magic? Probably. Try making a wish. Look. That one's not magic. And while you're at it, help us to make sure this campaign is the biggest and best Kickstarter we've ever run, because this is our chance to make a splash, not just on social media, but in the comics world as a whole. So thank you. Please pledge, like, comment, and subscribe. You will be very glad that you did, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
So beautiful, we'll survive.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Max, you may have noticed.
Yeah, edited to the music nicely with the crescendos there.
Yeah, Rogue gave me permission to use that song, so I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, this Kickstarter, I'm really excited about everything that's happening here. Adam Bryce Thomas has done a couple of covers for me. I'm really liking his work. He throws everything into it. That's another one by Adam Bryce Thomas. We have that as a print, and I'll probably use that as a cover eventually. That's the Woodsman versus the Big Bad Wolf.
That looks really cool.
Yeah. The Big Bad Alpha Wolf, because there's more than one Big Bad Wolf. So if you keep going down, there should be, we got the different pages here so you can see. I did a lot. I'm a martial artist. So I threw a lot of my actual knowledge of Kyokushin karate into like how I spell that, which drove my artists crazy. Because I'd be like, okay, she needs to throw this rolling thunder drop kick. And they're like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, I can't describe it. I have to send you a video of it. And then like I get it back. And sometimes I'm like, okay, perfect. And other times I'm like, no, their foot needs to be slightly different to really put power into that.
Yeah, posing is important. I mean, there's this, you can see the difference between like what it looks like a paper doll kind of like just stuck to a page, or the character actually living inside of the frame. You know,
I'm by the way, just because this came up, so we've been making as a stretch goal tarot cards. Luana Vecchio has been making them. I'm trying to get a whole set, or at least the major arcana done. And I can actually announce here if we hit 17,000 in the next 8 days, there will be another 6 tarot cards, and
Nice.
Everyone who pledges above a certain level will get one of them. I haven't decided which. But yeah, that's Luana's version of the Big Bad Alpha Wolf. He's the 3 Little Pigs Big Bad Wolf, and if you notice, I didn't tell her to do this, but if you look at the wolf zombies in his, they're actually pigs partially transformed into wolves.
wow.
Yeah, sort of my contribution to zombie lore in this is that the zombies work on kind of a sire system, because the plague is magical in nature. So like if you get bit by, say, a wolf zombie, you you take on wolf-like characteristics as a zombie. If you get bit by like a fairy, for instance, or a wizard, you might gain magical abilities as a zombie. If you get eaten by the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk, nobody knows what happens because you got eaten. No one's actually survived being bit by him. Yeah, so this is the colors here are Geo Butler's. She's based out of the UK. She was recommended to me by someone at Scout Comics, and she's
done really well.
I really like what she did with this. What's fun about this also is like this was originally like a 10-minute play in the Estrogenius Festival before the Fringe in New York, which was a celebration of female voices, and I guess somebody just saw me from behind and assumed I was a chick. But yeah, it did really well with them.
What's up?
Yeah, that's the Woodsman. I'm just a huge fan of that character. Interesting things happen with him, but his whole thing is he wants to kill the Big Bad Alpha Wolf. There's Rapunzel. Oh, this is what I was talking about with Hyando. You see the Spanish Moroccan is like the Muslim, like, because they don't depict certain things, they go into like really deep and detailed kind of geometric patterns, and that's what he used. So like at first glance, it looks like stained glass. So yeah, I just love everything about this, and it's so much smarter than what I wanted. Yes, a giant duck, as there is a duck. And below that we have the Gingerbread Man. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see the dialogue here, but he's like, I'm telling a story here. It's got everything: fencing, fighting, torture. There's a million little references to just about everything baked into this. I'm a big fan of like the Simpsons style 6-person joke. So
Yep.
like, yeah, you can enjoy the series a lot more if you're exactly the kind of weirdo that I am and you've watched all the strange stuff I'm into.
It's like one of my favorite Simpsons jokes is when, I don't remember exactly what happened, but like Police Chief Wiggum's sitting there and something crazy happens. It's just something just completely insane. Like a plane crashes and some other stuff happens and it all happens all around him. And he's like, oh, I never thought I'd live to see this again.
Yeah, Simpsons was huge. Like, you know, now we're into zombie Simpsons, and it's definitely not the show that it used to be, but yeah, that had a huge impact on my sense of humor. In fact, I should probably do a Simpsons variant cover.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, so we got a lot of levels here, which I'm excited about. I tend to overdo things, so but it goes everything from, you know, getting copies, getting the variant copies, getting back issues, you know, all the way up to you know, at $2,000 you can be in the comic. Used to be 1,000, but as we're getting closer to the end, it becomes harder and harder for me to add things to the story. But you know, I'll make it work for 2,000. And then my highest level actually is I teach a class where essentially if people want to, they can pay me 3,500, and like I show them like how to go through creating whatever it is that they want to do and getting it out into the world. Anything from, because I'm a classically trained actor. I'm a playwright, and I've also done comics and screenplays. So occasionally I manage to get people to take those levels, and that's always very exciting.
Niobe.
Got Niobe in the house.
Niobe.
So you guys need to go check that one out too. What was it? 8 days left on that one?
Yep. 8 days. And you can help us get that last stretch goal so that I can get those 6 tarot cards made. I really want like a full set. So please, somebody put us over 17 grand.
I'm always impressed when somebody who can get over 200 backers without having a TNA comic. It's pretty cool. Congratulations.
Thanks. I think Scout really helped with that. It was sort of already known in the comics world before I launched it. And I've been beyond that. I've just been very lucky to have the support that I've had, and to work with some really amazing people. In a weird way, like the story is, you know, I think I wrote Snow White Zombie in 2009 for a 24-hour play competition. So I wrote it, and then like within 24 hours, it had to go get selected, sent to a director, cast, and the actors performed. And then people just lightning struck, hit the right thing, and people just kept coming back to it. And you know, like a zombie, this freaking series just keeps rising again in different forms.
That's really impressive. Being my second comic, I can appreciate all the work that you've done to build your audience. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, well, a big part of it, honestly, was like, so for beating my head against the wall in Manhattan for 10 years, I got very good at marketing. Because and then I found it's much easier to convince somebody to buy your comic than to come to your play. Yeah, particularly in New York, where there's a million things for people to
4 hours of my time. I don't know. I gotta take the subway.
Yeah.
I don't want to go outside.
Yeah, the TNA books are really popular. I that was something I was completely unaware of on Kickstarter, and then I came in. I was like, oh, there's a lot of this.
Yeah,
leave my TNA books alone. That's what I do.
You know, I may ask you one day about doing a TNA book. It just depends on if I can break through my Catholic upbringing.
I'm Catholic.
Then that's exactly. So you can serve as inspiration.
I'm from an Italian family. I was raised Catholic.
Oh, okay. We have a lot in common. I was actually born in Naples and raised first 2 years of my life in Sicily.
Nice. I have family from Sicily, Venice, and what's the other one?
Florence?
No, starts with an M. Milan. Yep.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, great country. Luana Vecchio, my artist for issues 2 to 4, is Italian, and what we're doing with the series is I'm purposefully changing artists every major story beat. Sort of because they did that in Sandman and I really liked it. But 2, fairy tales are a bit weird and different people tell them and they have different versions. So I thought it would be cool to have like a through line of my writing, but interpreted by several different artists to just really give that feeling.
Nice.
I like that, like doing each different story and a different artist, because then it's a different way of different. It's like a visual representation of a different way of it being told. That's really cool.
Yeah. Now, what's very fun. So one of my side careers, I work as a professional wilderness guide, and so like on my very first Kickstarter, I was like, "Give me $7,000 and I will take you to Iceland, and we will spend like 4 days in the wilderness." Nobody took me up on that, and thank God they didn't, because shortly after I launched, freaking COVID.
Now, if it would have been to Italy, I would probably took you up on it, because I've never been there. I was born in America, so
it's a phenomenal country.
I want to go. That's one of my that's on my bucket list. I need to go to Italy.
I love Florence is my favorite city, because I love the Ponte Vecchio. I love the Catholic reliquary that they have there, like all the saints. I'm just a little goth, so like I see all these like bones and jeweled boxes, and I'm just like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier I go to college, and I do photography and graphic design for my college work, and cause that's what I do on the side. And a lot of my projects and stuff I had to do were around like the Italian architecture and everything. So I'm like, yeah, I need to go there. I need to photograph stuff. I need to.
There's a terrific, like this was more than 20 years ago when I was there, but there's a terrific town called Sorrento in the South. I like the South a little bit more than the North usually. I guess that's because I was born in Naples and raised in Sicily, but Sorrento, like me and my parents had gone on this very long trip, and it was so incredible just getting to Sorrento, because it was so much of a smaller town. It was so much less touristy. And like, we just like, we rejuvenated ourselves for the rest of the European trip on that. So yeah, definitely check that out.
I want to go. I did a lot of my reports on the Sistine Chapel, and I want to go see that too.
I lived in Germany. I lived in a city called Bamberg, and it's like one of the only cities that was never bombed during World War II, because there's 7 hills, and on the top of each hill there's 7 Catholic churches that are like built in like the year 900. So they didn't want to like piss off the Catholics and by blowing up all these churches. So they got the St. Michael's Cathedral there, and that is some scary shit. I mean, like when you go inside of there, and because they got like, there's a Pope buried there and there's a king buried there. And you go into where the king's buried, and it's got like skeletal guards, like on like made out of silver and marble on all 4 corners of the tomb that's sitting there. It's crazy. And then there's like crazy like demon skull looking things on the walls, and I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be church.
Oh man. Yeah. Fun, actually, that connects with Swaza. So I can say this. So I'm not going to reveal who my artist is, but what I'm really excited about is I have Swaza number 5 almost done, and then Swaza number 6, and this is basically it's a good old fashioned dungeon crawl when our heroes are actually going into a Viking burial mound to recover a magic sword.
Nice.
And in the I literally had, and this was in my notes and description, I was literally like, when they come upon the actual Viking burial chamber, I was like, I need this to be like halfway between Goonies and this Catholic church made entirely of bones. And the artist, they did an amazing job. I'm really excited about it because when that does come out, and that'll be the next Kickstarter I run in the series, the artist who did it is taking inspiration from Berserk, and oh man, it's so he's just giving me pages every day.
It was an awesome anime, awesome manga, and the game on the Dreamcast was fantastic. Sword of Berserk, Death's Rage. That game was great. You run around just cutting monsters in half and just chopping stuff up. Blood flying everywhere.
You can go ahead and play the video if you want.
All right. I was just waiting for everyone to get done talking. I was queuing it up.
All right, so nice and short and sweet. Little. At least it was stilted for my playback. I know it was stilted for everyone. But if you want to see it smoother, you can go to the Kickstarter page, and watch the video all smooth like. But it's pretty straightforward. It's a short comic, but a giant comic that folds out and gets really, really big. It tells a complete story. It's got a complete story arc, beginning, middle, and end. It's not to be continued. It tells a full story. Has the end ending. Even has a bunch of sheep puns in there if you're into that. But yeah, it was an excuse to try something different, try something experimental. I'm very happy with it. I was trying to do something unusual, and I think it hit because people have been responding to it really well.
Yeah, I love the colors and everything in this. I mean, you were on one of our other shows, and it was just awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and it was my first time doing something on newsprint, so I didn't know like what it was going to look like, if it was gonna, if the color was all going to turn to mud or not. Like I tend to color stuff like super duper bright. Like I like bright colors, so I'm like doing 100% of everything when I'm putting colors on there. So I did print it in newsprint. I did do a test print to see what it looked like, and I'm very happy with how it came out. It's very radiant. Everything looks good. I mean, it's a little subdued compared to what it looks like on my screen when I color it, but subdued, I think, in a good way. And then here's some like original commission stuff, which people have been reacting to, which has been good. I did a thing in the first 24 hours. If you pledged, I would draw something on the envelope it shows up in. So that's an example of a monster drawing.
Well, that's a really good idea.
That's cool.
Yeah, now it's an add-on. You can add on if you want it, but it was free to like the first 24 hours. And I was like, oh, this is good. It'll boost it. I'll get a few more, but I got like 100 in the first 24 hours. So I got a lot of envelopes I got to draw on. And then there's kind of my complete works there. Everything that I still have in print, you can get copies of there.
And this is all your art as well?
This is all my art as well. Yes.
That's terrific. Are there any plans to do like a a 2D kind of Shovel Knight style game for your Clockwork Knight? Because that would be incredible.
I would love to. A fan of mine who's a programmer got in touch at one point, and we were developing, like we were working on a little app type game starring Quick the Clockwork Knight. It's kind of gone on pause. He had some family stuff come up. But yeah, no, I would love to do that. I'm excited by the idea. Hopefully that'll come back together. But yeah, that would be super fun. For sure. Yeah, and Lola, if you want to pop me out, I can tell the origin story real quick of how this came to be. In 2021, I did a lot of conventions. I did a lot with Base Comics that I was talking about earlier. They very kindly like paid my way and like flew me out to a bunch of conventions to promote the Mistakes book I did with them. So it's super fun for me. It was a different experience doing conventions for me, where I didn't have to worry about like making my money back. It was pretty incredible. I hope to do more that way. I don't know. I don't know if it's in the budget for Base Comics, but I am up for it if they want to do more of that. So I ran around to all kinds of shows across the country this past year, and I was promoting the Maze book, and I was, selling some of my own books on the side, but I also run around and talk to people. And I kind of have this little comic I made that I would hand to people. And it's this little fold out tower thing. It looks like a very stereotypical damsel in distress thing. Like the knight's going to run in and rescue her. But it's like Mad Magazine, like the fold in on Mad Magazine, but this is the opposite. It's the fold out. So you fold it out and you go inside the tower. You see it? And then you kind of get the cutaway of the tower there, and you follow the knight through the tower. And as you follow him, let's see if I can. I have a really hard time with the backwards thing. Once you get to the princess, it turns out she's just a puppet this monster used to lure him in. Then at the last second, the real princess shows up. But then it's like, oh, where'd she come from? But if you look at the very bottom here, the princess has her own story where it says meanwhile right there. So there's white numbers that go where the princess goes, and there's black numbers that go where the knight goes, and then they kind of join up at that point, and then they're together and they work together at that point. So anyways, it's kind of like a fun little comic. I thought it was a cool idea. It was something I could show to people like right away and explain, in just a few seconds. And for the most part, people loved it. The reaction was like kind of unbelievable how excited people got about it. So I wanted to do something like that. I was like, oh, I should do something like big and exciting like that. And that was kind of the inspiration for doing the newsprint comics, kind of a similar idea, try to make something that's like giant and impresses people. But, it's not like a novel. You don't have to like read the whole thing, but you can be like, oh, look, that's a big ass dragon, a big ass iron dragon, and that's cool. So that's where the idea came. And like I said, the plan is to do more. It's a complete story. You read the whole thing, you don't need to read any more, but I do want to do more things like it, to kind of follow up this format. As long as people are like into it, I'll keep making it because it's super fun to do. And as any Kickstarter veteran knows, it's super light. So shipping is for something that's light. So that was a big part of the reason to do it on newsprint as well as evoking like a Sunday newspaper kind of thing.
With something that light, I guess you would be able to send it even for less than media mail.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely brilliant. It's okay. So like, you guys assume everybody's read Understanding Comics by Scott McCloud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like one of the things when he was talking about like that I got really inspired in college while I was reading that was that like, because comics were kept sort of in this sort of like kid space idea for so long, it was either like newspaper comics or comics for kids. And then like the whole industry got mired in superhero stuff, which is fine. I like superhero stuff. But as a result, I think that it's one of the art forms that really hasn't been fully explored. And like, I absolutely love, like, where did that idea even come from to make the fold out comics?
It started with like, what can I fit in an envelope? That was really the beginning of it. Like,
necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, for sure. It also came from this isn't a plug, but like I use like stamps.com to mail stuff, but I was constantly like signing up for stamps.com and then canceling it because like, oh, I don't need it for 6 months because my next Kickstarter hasn't come out yet. So part of it was also like, what can I produce at like a regular schedule that'd be worth it to have this shipping software to keep printing out stamps. And that was part of it too. Yeah, it's funny because it was very economical in a lot of ways, which isn't normally where I start. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do something crazy that's fun. But this was trying to do something fun that still worked.
Was this like the first idea that you come up with, or was this like the third iteration of some idea?
There was a bunch of versions of fold out stuff. Like the tower was kind of one that I showed you earlier. Let's see. Do I have another one here? Hold on.
So he's trying to find that. For those who don't have things that can fit in envelopes, IndieVote has a code for you. For if you want 10% off your Gemini mailers or Gemini supplies, use Volt10 when you're checking out, and it will save you 10%.
Oh my God! I am using that the second I get off of here.
Yeah, so this is a little mini. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I'm out of Gemini mailers and I desperately need some more.
Nice. Yeah, so this is like a little mini comic I made, Quick the Clockwork Knight and the Golden Skull. And this is a fold out deal where you fold it out and it's like this little comic story that you read, but it gets bigger and bigger as you fold it. So this was kind of like version 1.0 of what I ended up doing with
Something you've already been done
with the giant thing. And then there's like I won't show you the final page because it's kind of but yeah, just this idea of like just a different way of telling a story. Engaging people, using how do you use something really big dramatically and narratively, like how does it make sense?
It's really cool that it gets bigger, and I'm sure that the story goes along with it, gets bigger as it goes along. You know, I mean, it's just as Brent said, it's genius.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm always interested in trying to do interesting things. Like I mentioned, I have a Choose Your Own Adventure graphic novel coming out. This one is I'm not sure there's any left in the Kickstarter. There might be like 1 or 2 left because I'm almost out of this one, but this is a Choose Your Own Adventure floppy comic book. My previous Kickstarter was a 3D comic book that came with the glasses. It'll look like a mess on here, but with the glasses, it looks really cool in 3D. Stuff pops out at you, stuff recedes. So I'm always trying to do interesting things. I like to put like flip books and stuff in the corners of my books. Just try to tell stories in a different way. Try to use like, all the parts of the book to tell different stories.
Nice.
I love like where your brain went with that. It reminds me. So like one of the first things that I did in theater in New York, I did this show called Mike about the underground open mic scene. And, because the people in the audience would become the performers, I got the idea to like start hiding actors among the actual audience. So then they would pop up and interrupt the show or something. I always really, really love it when somebody like finds a way to basically reinterpret the medium. Where did this come from specifically? I mean, I know you said that like it was you said that it came from the necessity, but did you have any like experiences? Have you always like sort of had an idea to sort of think in this kind of meta way?
It comes from kind of just like playing, just like folding paper and seeing what happens. I mean, I have kids, I have younger kids, and like I play with them and we like play with things and make things. And it's fun to see them because like everything is new to them. Like they don't have any, they're like, oh, you have to flip a book this way, they're like, whatever, let's do this. And so that's part of it is inspiration playing with them. Like now that I remember it, like this tiny little comic I made, or I made the first version of it, like the scribbled version of it. I was playing with my daughter and I was like, let's make books together. And we were folding paper different ways to see what happened when you unfolded it. So she like made one and I made one that eventually became this little comic.
That's neat.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I love comics. I love all comics, serious comics, sad comics, happy comics, funny comics, kids comics. Like I like them all. But as far as like what especially now with the state of the world and everything, like I want to put joy out into the world. Like that's kind of my mission statement at the moment. So like anything that is like fun and engaging and gets you thinking, like that's really what I'm going for at this point with my art.
That's what I'm doing with Ninja Bimbos, is putting out fun comic books.
So speaking of that, I'm bringing it up right now.
Yeah, speaking of TNA books.
Yeah, right?
Ninja Bimbos versus zombies from deep space. Space. This is a book. It's about 5 strippers in New York in the year 2040. Exotic dancers.
What's wrong with strippers?
I don't know. People get mad.
I'm an ex-stripper, so what's wrong with that?
I'm fairly sex positive, so
good. So there's meteorites come from space. They hit the Americas and release this radioactive gas that kills off half the population, and then the other half basically gets turned into zombies. There's a very small amount of people who don't get turned into zombies, and our protagonists are part of that group of people. And the reason why is because they didn't get so much of the gas put into them as as other people did, because they kept falling back into the thing, into the strip club that they're in. And this girl, she wakes up and she's not dead. She's okay. She finally gets out of the go-go dancing cage. She didn't get that much of the gas because she was above it all. And then she finds her buddy Mitch, and she's like, "Mitch, are you all right?" And he turns around. He's zombified. So he starts chasing after her, and then he starts biting into her, and she's like, "No, Mitch, you're a vegan." And she's worried about his dietary choices to the end.
Okay, so there's a bit of synchronicity here, because in the Reign of the Blood-Covered King Ashcan mini comics that I made, I have a character who's kind of based a little bit on Radagast and a little bit on Tom Bombadil. Yep. And he's a vegan who lives in like a polyamorous relationship with his wife.
And spouting poetry like Tom Bombadil.
yeah, that Tom Bombadil. And he's this weird little man that casts magic with beans, and of course he gets bit and becomes the world's first vegetarian zombie.
Here's the covers. This one's by Alex Santana, who is the interior artist for the book. We always feel that your interior artist is good enough to be your cover artist for your standard cover, should be at least, if they're doing your interiors. So we always give cover A to our interior artist. Cover B is by Fran Cord, who's an inker on the project. I love this cover because of the zombies, the reflections of the zombies' eyes, and the bloody hands in the front creates a nice leveled, tiered planes.
That's the you got the foreground, the midground, and the background.
There's planes that are created that really works out really well.
Yeah. Since the eye is attracted to red, your eye immediately goes to that hand and then straight to the butt.
Yep, exactly. It's almost like they planned it that way. This one is by Fern Cord, who's the Mary Machine Gun artist and my art director. There's a few Easter eggs that if you put them all together, you get one big Easter egg, which is pretty cool. I mean, we don't have to sit here and look at it, but we can if we want.
I already know it. I figured it out.
Yeah.
Anybody guess?
I see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
That's Mariah Benez's cover, sister to the great Ed Benez. She always comes in, she brings it every time that she comes over and does a cover for us. She's always on top of it. She's got some of the sexiest women. It's funny how women draw the sexiest women.
Oh yeah. There was Carla Cohen did a cover of mine. It was by far the sexiest Snow White Zombie cover that I've ever had.
Yeah. This is by Mateus Duarte. This is our naughty cover. The devil heads will not be there on the cover, obviously. And with that, you get prints for our first 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 4,000. We're releasing one print, so currently we're at $3,600. So we've got 3 prints released. Once we hit $4,000, we'll release the 4th final print. But these are the naughty prints that we're releasing with the naughty tiered material, and then the blank sketch cover, which we've never done a sketch cover before. This is the first time we've done one. That will be our cardboard stand-up, which is what I have, much like the things behind me.
Yeah, hold on, let me blow you up. There you go.
Much like the Mary Machine Gun ones behind me.
Oh, that's really cool.
But that one will be of Donna, the smart one. The smart bimbo.
How does it? How's a smart bimbo work?
She intentionally because chooses to be to be vapid.
Good for her.
Then once we hit $4,000, we release the first stretch goal for everyone as well, which is the Alexis trading card. And then at $5,000, we've got the Rachel trading card. $6,000, we've got the Leah trading card with her in her 80s Flashdance outfit. And then whatever's the next one is the bookmark. And then we have the Lexus poker chip with the alternate art, because the first 24 hours, people that backed it within the first 24 hours, they all get a free poker chip.
Nice.
And this comic book is done. So
Yeah,
and we print with Comics Wellspring because Comic Wellspring is awesome.
they are. I've been using them for years.
The poker chips. Do you get those custom made?
Yeah.
That's cool. What kind of stuff you put on them?
Usually just pictures. Just like bust photographs of the girls or something. Not like the nudity ones. But I'm just saying like pictures of their faces, stuff like that.
Cool.
Max,
Yeah.
speaking of poker chips, remember the poker chip that I got sent?
Yeah.
You never sent me a new one.
I never did.
No.
I must have skipped you. My bad.
That was the one that told you about it.
Oh shit! I will make sure to get that to you. I still have them. I got a whole ton of them, so there's no problem getting it to you.
You can just send it with this campaign.
T-shirt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll work. I'll send it with the Ninja Bimbos book. That'll work out. Just throw it in the box.
No, but I can't wait for this book to come out. And for the Indiegogo, I will be cosplaying. I was supposed to cosplay for this one, but things happened and I couldn't. So for the Indiegogo, I am cosplaying as Rachel.
It'll be awesome.
Yes, I can't wait.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'll be excited to see it. Excited to see it.
One of the things about like cosplay that like really, so like I mentioned in the video that like Wendy Penny, who did ElfQuest, was a huge influence on me. And like, I mean, as an example, here's the first ElfQuest book I ever had, and it's invisible, of course. But like, I read it so much it fell apart, and I found out I had no idea until about a year ago that she was like one of the very first cosplayers ever. And like did like Red Sonja, and like that, I think it was before pretty much anybody else was doing it. So it was just such a weird coincidence, I guess.
I've never cosplayed, but Max's book was like, yes, I have to cosplay as one of his characters.
That's awesome. I cosplayed as Ryu at Dragon Con just before COVID, which was a lot of fun. And I just got my black belt, so it was like my real black belt, and then just
nice.
Hadouken.
Yeah. Oh, there was a picture I took. There was a big like, at Dragon Con they got some of those like big like wall-sized mirrors.
Yeah.
And I took a selfie and realized that the flash
Looked
from
like
my camera would. Yes, there was a shot of me like doing a Hadouken with the eye.
That's
my iPhone
awesome.
camera.
So we are reaching our hour mark, guys. We have 15 minutes left. So, Brent, you said you had a trailer to show us?
Yeah, if you guys want to. If not, here, it's on my... This is just... You can get Darude... hang on, I got the wrong one. You can get Darude, the other comic, which is very different from Swaza, but it's available as an add-on. So, hang on, I got... Klimt here. Here we go. Yeah, so here it is, and this one's just the trailer. It's on my YouTube channel, so you can just pull it up.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah, this was done by Enon Films, which I'm really excited about them because they're the people I'm also writing the screenplay for. So they do some really cool work.
Share screen.
Check it.
Stupid ads. Here we go.
Negras tormentas agitan los aires, nubes oscuras nos impiden ver. Aunque nos espere el dolor y la muerte, contra el enemigo nos llama el deber. El bien más preciado es la libertad. Hay que defenderla con fe y valor. Alza la bandera revolucionaria que del triunfo sin cesar nos lleva en pos. Alza la bandera revolucionaria que del triunfo sin cesar nos lleva en pos. En pie el pueblo obrero a la batalla. Hay que derrocar a la reacción, a las barricadas, por el triunfo de la Confederación. A las barricadas, por el triunfo de la Confederación.
So you were raised Catholic. Waldo was raised Catholic. I was raised Catholic. And in each of our books, we have Catholic iconography.
Yeah. It's really funny when you think about it. Durruti was just like, you can look him up. He lived this incredible life. Just like started out as like a radical union member in Spain, and then the Spanish king, while he was participating in a strike, the Spanish king ordered the military to machine gun like all of his friends. So then he received his draft notice that he was going to join that same military. So he left and became sort of a Robin Hood figure, and like cut the swath of like revolutionary activity across like 5 countries and 2 continents. And the story begins actually the real life incident with him where he was in prison. And if the Argentinian steam could get there, they were going to extradite the Argentina and execute him. But instead, it took an extra day to get there, and the workers' movement got him out. So when he got out of jail, he met with like some really famous anarchists, like the Ukrainian anarchist Nestor Makhno. So there's like a crossover, like it's the Marvel universe. Raised an army and fought Franco and defeated the military in Madrid. It's just like when I found out about him, I was like, why has nobody written about this guy? And I was like, oh, right, anarchist.
They don't like to write about anarchists winning.
It makes rich people very uncomfortable. Yeah. So that series is going on. We've got some really cool rewards that are going to be available. If you follow Autonomous Collective, that's my label, and you can follow me. You get Snow White Zombie from me, and Autonomous Collective will be doing Durruti and my special secret project with Kid Bus.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and this fun fact, because we are with all the comic stuff. So Durruti his one of his anarchist groups was actually called Los Justicieros, which, if you speak Spanish, literally translates to the Avengers. So Durruti is literally the first Avenger.
It's like the Justifiers or something like that.
So we are going to go around the room and say where we can be found, and that will be it for tonight's show, guys. And we're going to start with Thane.
Yeah, so if you want to check out the Kickstarter, tinyurl.com/quickdragon. You can find it there, or just search Iron Dragon at the Kickstarter. You can find out more about me at thanebenson.com, ThaneBenson.com. As far as like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook go, it's all Thane Benson, so you can find me on social media there.
Awesome. John?
You can find Alpha Dogs 2. Just do a search on Kickstarter, Alpha Dogs Issue 2. And as you can see, at Real Alpha Dogs on my Twitter, and I'm on Facebook. And at Alpha_Dogs_comic on Instagram.
Brenton?
So you can Google my name, Brenton Lengel, BrentonLengel. I'm literally the only one in the world, so you will find me. I'm most active on Twitter and YouTube, and Facebook. And then there's my website, www.brentonlengel.com. If you find me on Twitter, I have a link tree to like all of my social media, so you can follow that. And yeah, we got 8 days to go. I really want to at least pass the 17,000 mark, so we can make the really cool tarot cards. And thank you guys so much for having me on here. This has been a blast, and I love connecting with other creators.
Well, thanks for coming by. It's cool that we had that same connection with
I'm gonna tell him I ran into you right after this.
Yeah, I mean, just say, remember the show in Germany? We stood outside and talked until like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty.
Nice. Max?
My name is Max DeVille. I own and operate Atrocity Press. You can find it anywhere on any social media or even the web by just going to atrocitypress.com or searching for Atrocity Press.
Nice. And guys, most of you know where to find me, but if you don't, there you go. Linktree, indie_princess. All my links are there. I will be updating some. But yeah, just look up the Indie Princess or the real Indie Princess, and you will find me. I'm everywhere. And that is it for tonight's show, guys. I'm going to hit the outro if I can find it. Well,
beautiful bean footage.
Oh, I like you dancing better.